Welcome to Enterprising. Now for a company, a board of directors is a bit like having an agony aunt. It gives you good advice, keeps you in check, and generally speaking helps you live a better life, or in this case, build a better business. For a startup, the perspective and wisdom of an experienced board of directors can prove to be an invaluable asset, especially in this post-Satyam era with investors laying more emphasis on good governance. A blue chip board is mandatory. But for startups, it's also a catch-22 situation. You need a good board of directors to achieve critical mass, but very few experienced directors will want to be on your board till you achieve that critical mass. So how does a small enterprise attract and retain the directors it needs? Isha Dalal has some suggestions.
50 employees, over 2,000 customers every day, and over 40 lakh rupees in revenue last year. But that's not enough for year-old startup RupeeTalk.com, which is aiming to rake in 5 crore rupees from its personal finance advisory services this year. And to get there, the company is scouting for a board of directors for 3 reasons.
One, I told you the credibility, right? The second is the breakthrough and the contacts which you can get it. Thirdly is the independent view, okay? And which means that we are kind of developing something, right? I mean, since we are developing, we will feel more towards it and we'll think that this is going to work. But then an independent view will always help you understanding what are the pitfalls in your say services and where are you lacking.
Back in December 2007, RupeeTalk's founding board comprised just Satkam himself and the company's seed investor Anand Lunia. That's to comply with company law, which requires any private venture to register at least 2 directors. For most companies without a founding investor on board, that usually means bringing in a family member as director number 2.
Now all of that's a mere formality, but after that, inviting just any director on board serves no purpose at all. Because don't forget, entrepreneurs, investors and board members all have to sit together at the same table for a long time. And investors prefer no board at all to a board they haven't approved.
If you have access to great board members, it could help you raise finance. But at the same time, as venture capitalists are judging you for every one of your actions, if you put somebody on the board who they don't think cuts the mustard, then to a large extent you are giving them another opportunity to say no to you. So you don't want to do that. And you want to go with those venture funds which are very conscious of helping you choose the right people to come on your board.
Early stage investor Seed Fund, for example, often taps into its own network of contacts to rope in directors for portfolio companies. But even for investors, finding entrepreneur-friendly directors isn't easy.
Why will somebody spend, let's say, an hour a week with you? It has to be interesting for really interesting for the person, right? This will be interesting for the person if, one, he likes the challenge that you put across to him. You are not asking for direct favors. You are giving enough visibility to the director also. And finally, I'd say that you keep the director informed and completely on the same page as about everything about the company, right?
R. Satya, founder of education company Career Launcher, in fact, was able to form his board 4 years after launch by making these very promises. But he says directors were willing to step up only when convinced of the founder's integrity.
The board of directors, they come on board for principally a couple of reasons. One is they look at an important aspect of whether I am being invited to be a feather in the cap or a trophy role that these guys want to showcase me into the external world, or is the entrepreneurial group or the founding group or the promoters group, are they serious about building a business and they look at me as a valuable resource that they're going to draw upon.
But over a decade later, it's a whole different ballgame. Thanks to Ramalinga Raju's 7,000 crore rupee scam, as well as the pending criminal case against Nimesh Kampani for his independent directorship on the board of Nagarjuna Finance, India Inc.'s running scared of directorships in any company, large or small.
So it may be tougher to fill board seats. But here's the good news. A board of advisors often serves just as well as a board of directors. Unlike a board of directors which has fiduciary responsibilities, a board of advisors provides informal guidance to the company and is free of any legal commitment or liability. No wonder that they're easier to rope in.
3-year-old company Think Labs, which trains students in robotics, for example, has had a board of advisors in place since inception. The company has no independent directors at all, but it says it gets all the practical guidance it needs and more from its 6 advisors.
We look up to them as a father figure. A lot of times when we are dejected with what's happening and the results are not coming out and the enthusiasm is really low, we do go speak to our advisors, and a lot of cases they come back sharing their experiences on similar aspects, etc., to boost our confidence as well.
You get the advisory board, you get them comfortable with what you are doing, they start giving you advice, then they say, hey, this is a board where I like what I am doing, I'm giving an advice, then you may be approaching them to take on the fiduciary responsibility.
But advisors, directors, whoever it is, simply being on the board doesn't guarantee time and commitment, especially if you've managed to rope in marquee brands as directors.
So for smaller companies, experts say, curb the desire to chase the big faces and set your sights on someone with the market knowledge but without the celebrity status.
Everybody wants Kishore Biyani on the board of their retail venture, for example, right? But not necessary. I mean, you could probably go to somebody who worked with Big Bazaar in the initial days, right? And this could be probably somebody who's just retired, has the right experience, not a big name. So entrepreneurs will have to sort of again stop chasing really big names and actually go to people who really matter.
But no matter who it is, time is money. So how much should directors be paid?
Legally, directors are eligible for sitting fees and stock compensation. But a small company has little money to give its directors and the stock is worth even less. Advisors, on the other hand, don't need to be paid anything at all under law, but
I would say there should be a token, token amount either in terms of some equity shares or which startups can afford easily, or a small sitting fee. They'll keep the discipline and they'll give the entrepreneur the right to invite and force the director to attend the meetings. So yeah, I mean there should be something. Complete pro bono gives no moral right to the entrepreneur to pick up the phone on the board of directors.
Well, now that that's sorted out, you have the lowdown on how to find them, how to get them and how to keep them. What can I say? Just go out and get them. In Mumbai, Isha Dalal.
Well, we hope that helps you get the right kind of directors on board. We need to take a quick break. When Enterprise Inc. returns,